Thanks, guys, for coming on today. I have an amazing guest. Her reputation precedes her, which is why I wanted to invite her on the show and find out more about her. Brenda Villafranco. Did I say your last name right, Brenda?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, you
Okay,
absolutely nailed it.
perfect. Yeah, so Brenda is somebody who's involved in the Pace Morby community, and I have been really just interested in hearing her story and wanted to share it with all of you. And she also has services to offer that could be helpful to anyone watching. So, Brenda, to start off with, thank you for coming on the show. And could you just tell us a little bit about like your journey to that led you up to where you are today?
Yeah, no, absolutely. First off, thank you for having me. That's number one. Number two, how I started. I'm still a newbie, to be honest. I'm a newbie. I'm only 1 year into real estate, and so much has happened. So many things that I've met some really amazing people. I've learned so much. I'm still learning, and it's been nice because I my background is healthcare. And
Okay.
so, my background is ER nursing, and I did that for several years.
Wow,
And
that's
now I do
intense.
yeah, and now I do but you know what? It's so funny that you mentioned that because what I loved about ER nursing is that everything was always a surprise, right?
Okay.
Like, I
Yeah.
enjoyed getting patients out of surprises. Like, don't tell me who's coming in, just once you
Yeah.
announce it, like, I know that's exactly what I'm getting, and I'll be ready for it.
I
And
love
so
that.
I think one of the things about real estate, it's another thing too that kind of is similar to healthcare is that there's so many avenues that you can choose from.
Yeah.
And that's similar to healthcare as well too. If you don't like ER nursing, you can go to med surg, you can go to the step down unit of IMU, you can go to
Yeah.
ICU. And so it's so funny because I never pictured myself doing real estate. And I pretty much kind of landed on it in a sense. I bought a rental a couple years ago.
Mhm.
And just at that time, Pace Morby's book was releasing Wealth Without Cash. And that led me to the algorithm of Bigger Pockets on Instagram.
Yep.
And from then on out, like I just kept seeing his content, and
Mhm.
pretty much that's how I landed into the community, to be honest.
That's so cool. So, are you still working in your other career, or have you made the crossover 100% or?
No, I'm still working full time. I enjoy my job, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that I would love to, as I scale my business and lending, I would like to just focus full on it and see how I can um, be able to support that full time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh
Mhm.
well, that's incredible. I am so happy to hear that that you are actually on the newer side of, the grand scale of things because I think there's a lot of people that would love to hear how you have how have you been successful so far? How have you, how did you jump into the community and get people to know and trust you and start getting involved in deals?
Basic thing is just leading with character. Like you have, what are your values and do those values align with what my core values are, right?
Yeah.
Even at my job place, like integrity, we have ICARE values and each one
Yeah.
of them stands for integrity, compassion, accountability. And so just does it align? And if it doesn't, then I remove that or remove, whoever I don't want within that network. But
Yeah.
it's been so key for me to build those genuine relationships,
Mhm.
and that's honestly how it's gone this year is just building those amazing relationships and being able to not only build them, but collaborate with them. And
Yeah.
that's kind of been networking has truly been the key to
Yeah.
how I've done so many deals this past
Oh, I love that. So,
year.
how do you find the time? Like, where do you squeeze it into the nooks and crannies of your life if you're working a full-time job? How'd you do that?
Thankfully, my work schedule actually is beneficial on my end because I work 12-hour shifts. So I work
Okay.
7 to 7, and when I get off, I wake up super early, for meditation and prayer. So
Good for you.
my bedtime is 9 o'clock. Like, that's it.
Mhm.
So usually on my days when I work, I work 3 12s and then off and then work 3 12s. But then I'm off for 6 days. And
Okay.
so every time I'm off 6 days, I usually just collaborate, network, try to
Yeah.
do more outreach and see how I can be of value to someone else or how we can collaborate And that's been beneficial for me to be able to, because
Oh, yeah.
the days that I'm off, like, I don't get to do that. I can't do any Zoom calls. I can't do my job is too demanding for that
Yeah.
at this point. So, yeah. So,
For sure, for sure. Okay.
mhm.
And then, I think you're from Texas, right?
Yeah, Houston, Texas.
Okay, awesome.
Mhm.
So when you say that, on your days off, you're networking, are you doing a lot of the networking, virtually, or are you actually going down and, like, meeting up with people in face to face?
Both. I love the in-person.
Mhm.
I love the in-person, just there's something about, like, just being connected and being able to, like, get to know someone in person. But
Yeah.
Zoom calls are always nice too, just because if you're states away, but at least you
Oh,
get to
yeah.
see their face, you get to kind of observe their reactions and how you can decipher, if you're gonna wanna continue to build that relationship or not.
For sure, for sure. Oh, I
Mhm.
love it. So you really are just kind of, taking in every opportunity that you have available. What about the, Zoom calls that, Pace Morby's group offers in the community? Have you found those to be, a way for you to network with others?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I haven't been,
Mm.
on them as much just because it's been like a
Your work?
networking thing lately.
Yeah,
Yeah, and work has been really busy, but they've definitely helped, within the community. I think everybody has a pretty common goal as to wanna have financial freedom. So I
yeah,
think for the most part, almost every person you will get some kind of, "Oh, hey, I'm in the same boat, like, that's what I wanna do too," or, "This
yeah,
is what I wanna pursue," but they all provide some value, like, "Hey, I do Airbnb, if you
yeah,
ever need help with that," or, "I do
yeah,
midterm rental," or, "I buy and hold. This is my specific market," so if you're not you can always ask for help, and it's
yeah.
there, and I think that's the
Oh,
beauty of it.
that's so cool. Okay, and then can you tell everybody, what communities are you actually a part of? Is it GATOR only or top tier TC or go ahead?
So I'm in GATOR. I started off in GATOR, still in GATOR, and then I'm
Okay.
in Owners Club at this time, and
Oh,
so it's
nice.
basically, PACE teaching you not to just have a business, but be a true owner of a business
Yeah.
and not let that business run you over and get burnt out. So that's been amazing just because I feel like those 350 members, you get to know them. And we've gone to our third retreat. We just came back a couple weeks from Boston. And it was nice to
Nice.
like see them again and just be able to connect and really provide value to each other and how we can help scale our
Yeah.
business.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. And it's a huge step in, faith in yourself too. Like, I'm not just doing this as a hobby. This is the real thing, and I'm going for it all in.
Yeah, all in. Because you know what? I mean, the worst case scenario is I just go back to my full-time job.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? It takes just as much faith to believe in the best case scenario as it does
Mhm.
the worst. Right.
Oh, no, absolutely.
And
I
so,
agree.
yeah, there's the worst case scenario is probably not even really on the table. You're
Yeah.
going to be successful for sure. So you mentioned when you're networking, people have different niches or markets that they specialize in. What is yours?
Mine's is short-term transactional lending. I've shift my focus to more of the EMDs with wholesalers.
Can
I
you
have a
tell people what that stands for?
Yeah, so it stands for earnest money deposit. So anytime a wholesaler is working to acquire a property and putting it under contract to show their credibility, they'll put not just $100, but they'll put 5,000 or 7,000. And instead of them using their money, I can come in as a lender and fund that for them. And they'll be able to essentially, it's for wholesalers that truly want to be credible and will like to scale their own business in funding. So if they put
Yeah.
4 properties under contract, and let's just say each one of their earnest money deposit is 5,000,
Yeah.
that's 20,000 within a month.
They need a
And so
chunk
if
of
they don't want
change.
That's correct, yeah. And so if they don't wanna either A, may not have the funds for that, but wanna scale their business to have those funds later in the future, then I can come in and help them with that portion.
I love it. I love it.
Mm.
Okay. And then, were there any other types that you offer or just that one?
Yes, double closes as well too, which is essentially another wholesaler that may be acquiring a property, he has an end buyer. I can come in and do the A to B And then the B2C, which is the
Mhm.
buyer, will come and put in their money to purchase that property and make a profit out of that. The third thing that I do is private money lending, 6 months or less as well too. And I've gotten about 10 deals in with private money lending. So
Nice.
yeah. So it's been definitely, each experience has been different, has been great, but it's been still, you learn something from every single deal that you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I didn't even know that was possible." And
Yeah,
so, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, so it's
So,
been, I do mostly, but mostly on the short-term transactional lending.
okay, I love that. And so for people watching this are thinking, I could do that. That sounds fun. How does she do it? Can you explain, like, do you work with a team where you're getting the funds, or did you start off having your own 5 grand to invest with, or how do you do that?
I did have my own liquid capital initially. I do have business lines of credits that I've worked this year and will continue to use them for more lending. But I also collaborate with other people. So there's people that reach out to me and say, "Hey, I have money. How can I use it? Or can you put me in on a deal with you?" And so
Yeah.
I've done that before. We just collaborate and split profits as well too, because in the in the grand scheme of things, like money will just, you think you have quite a good amount of money, but you really
Yeah.
don't. It goes away like so quickly. And
Yeah.
so it's always nice to just collaborate. It's better to have 50% than nothing at all, or passing on a deal
Yeah.
because you thought you could do it on your own.
Right, right. And just like the example you gave of the wholesaler who wants to do 4 deals in the same month, maybe you as a private money lender, or a lender for any of these other transactions, you also want to do more than one. And so it makes sense, to tap into other sources of funds
Yeah.
so that you can scale as well.
No, absolutely. I've even funded earnest money deposits for creative investors that are doing sub 2 property deals, and they're purchasing them, but they wanna use none of their money. And so
Yeah.
they'll ask me to provide for the EMD, and they really didn't do anything, didn't put anything down
Yeah.
for any of that money, so yeah.
That's so cool. Okay.
Mhm.
And then how do you, as a lender, how do you know if it's a good deal to lend on? Do you have somebody that you work with that, underwrites these really before you give over your
That's a
cash?
good question. Yeah, so for EMDs, you don't have to underwrite. That's the beauty of it. So it's just vetting out and seeing, do they actually go with our terms? So that'll be like the first step, like, "Okay, are you okay with our terms?"
Yeah.
And if you're not okay with them, then it's a no, and we'll just
Yeah.
not fund it. If they are okay with our terms, then now we have to make sure that title and whoever is the escrow officer is actually in communication, with everyone being on board and making sure that my funds are secured and that I'll get my funds back to my account in case the deal doesn't go through. So it's
Okay.
really,
Gotcha.
communication is a huge part with
Okay.
funding EMDs. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So
Mhm.
really the title company is your security blanket, really.
Yeah. Yeah,
Your fail
absolutely.
safe.
I mean,
Okay.
I still have to vet the title company and make sure it's a legit title company as well too. And so, just kinda just get on a call with whoever needs the EMD, and still in a sense, you're still vetting them out and you're still asking them questions, but official it's a little bit more safer than doing private money lending. With private money
Yeah.
lending, you actually need to underwrite and make sure that it really is a deal and that there's
Okay.
enough spread for that, for you to have your funds back in case something goes wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the EMDs are safer. That's good to
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
Um, what are do you work with any other types of transactions that are also in the realm of safer than private money?
Just double closes stay within escrow as well too.
Okay.
And again, it goes back to title communication. If
Okay.
they are aware and they have everyone's on board with the same, like, it's still more of a safer transaction. It's just
Okay.
vetting the title company and making sure that escrow is up to par with communication.
Yes. Okay. That's great. And then, so for anybody that would like to take advantage of your services, do you offer them nationwide?
Yeah, nationwide. Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay, great.
definitely. So
What is your website and the best way that someone can reach out to you?
so Instagram is the best way to reach out to me at Brenda Builds Wealth. You can reach out, send me a message, and I my responses are pretty quick. So if you have any
Nice.
questions, if you want to partner, if you want to send me a deal and I fund it and you get a profit split, I'd be more than happy to as well.
That's awesome. Okay, and I love it. It's such an easy one to remember. Brenda builds wealth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. So, let's see. What other can you think of anything that you want to share that I haven't asked yet?
I think for anyone that wants to get started, just start. Like that's it. Just take a step, reach out to someone. Because I feel
Yeah.
like that's like one of the things that like people, or the second thing as well too. I saw something yesterday on social media about being focused,
Mhm.
and a lot of people, they want to do one avenue and then they see someone being successful in a different avenue, and so then they jump to that one, and it's like if you're just putting your focus into five different small things, you'll never get to focus and really get to know and how to work that one initial one. So I think for me and
Yeah.
whoever is starting, just choose one, focus on just that one. Like, know the details, know how to get better,
Okay,
learn
good.
from your mistakes, go out there and test things. And then within a year, you'll be way ahead of whoever stopped and went over to two different directions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. I love that. That's actually really, really good advice because you're right. Everybody gets shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but everybody has to fight against it at least.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I see so
Yeah.
many success stories. Like I have I met this guy on in the HostCon event. It's an Airbnb event, and he's doing so good with Airbnb. And even for a split second, I was like, "Ooh, maybe I should stick over." You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
you have that. You're like,
It's
"No."
tempting.
Yes, you're like, "Stay focused, Brenda. Just stay focused." And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Build a name and build a reputation in what you're in and an excellence in it. And then, add on, right? But you've already at
absolutely,
least solidified one source of income, one income stream.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's really great advice. Thank you for that. Well, I think this has been very inspiring. I'm looking at this from the viewpoint of somebody that has just, found this video and they want to get into it and just seeing how much you can accomplish in about a year's time with just networking, getting to know people, staying true to your values, like
Mhm.
you had mentioned,
Yeah, absolutely.
and staying focused. Look what you can accomplish in just about a year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's so true. Like if you give yourself and you focus 1 year, your life can really change within a year. There's so much progress to make. And I
I
didn't
love
realize that until I actually wrote things down. I was looking back and reflecting, and I was like, "Oh, I really have done quite a few deals over the last year. I have met some really great people over the last year that I never
Yeah,
imagined meeting." So, yeah,
I
definitely.
love that. Do you remember like your first deal or first couple deals?
Yeah, my first deal was I remember being afraid. It was a 66,000 deal that needed to be funded, and I just remember being like, "It's a lot of money to fund." And it was a 60-day deal, and
Yeah.
thankfully, the person that I met, the connector, he was amazing and walked me through things that I should look into, things that I should vet, how I should vet, and it really helped me out so much. I know for some people, like, that sounds really nerve-wracking, even, like, wiring my money, like, the bank doesn't make it any better with, "Are you sure it's not a scam?" And so then
I
it
know, they
makes
try
you,
to
like,
scare you.
think again, like, "Oh my gosh, am I doing
Yeah,
this right?" You know?
yeah.
And just going through that just really helped ease because the person that I was funding for had a good reputation as well too.
Okay, good, good. And then do you, mind if I ask, like, how did you get your first deal?
Networking.
Perfect.
That's yeah, literally networking with people is how I got my first deal within the community, yeah. So,
Okay.
I always tell people, like, "Just put yourself out there. Just be you.
Yeah,
That's it."
just be you. You knew what you wanted to offer. You expressed it, and then somebody probably liked you, trusted you, and was like, "I'm gonna go with her.
Yeah.
Gonna
No,
give her a
absolutely.
shot."
Yeah. No, definitely. And
That's
and
so
that's how once that kinda goes and, reputation is huge in business and real estate, and
yeah.
so, transparency and honesty is always key. So just be honest, just be transparent,
Yeah.
and it's better than just, not doing those things. You're
Yeah.
well off just being honest.
Exactly. Exactly. Show your true character. And like you say, you'll be attracting to your business similar people that have the same values and the same character.
Yeah, no, definitely. Absolutely.
And then another thing I gleaned from this is even though it shows how much you can accomplish in a year, it also shows that you've been at this a whole year. What kind of expectations would you say someone could reasonably expect? Like, do you think that they should give themselves 6 months before they even expect a first deal, like just barely coming into the community? Or what would be your time frame, so that people don't expect too much or too quick?
I think that's a good question, and it really depends on the effort that you put into it. So when I started, I did the training, watched the videos for a month, but right after that month, like once I hit that fourth week, I went straight into networking and just really just getting to know people. Not I wasn't necessarily looking for my deal per se. I was just networking to see, is this how it works? This is something I never done before. And so once I started doing that, the more I networked, the more I was receiving deals.
Okay.
So I
Nice.
think it just really depends. Like I know people that have been trying to get their deal within 6 months, but are too afraid. And so even if it is a good deal, they're like, well, and so it really depends on you at the end of the day,
Your
like
risk
how much
tolerance.
your risk tolerance, how much effort you actually put into it, how much time. Like if you put
Yeah,
even if you connected with one person a day because that's all the time you had, I promise a deal will come to you.
really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you're talking about networking in person as well, are you going to like Pace Morby groups, or are you going to just general real estate groups in the Houston area?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Yeah. Yeah, I go to both. So
Okay.
mostly still sub 2, but I have gone to some that are not related to sub 2.
Okay. Nice. No, I love that. I mean, that was actually super inspiring to hear. If you just connect with one person a day, you will get a deal.
Yeah,
Um,
because it'll just eventually compound. Like, there's
yeah.
no other way to it's not gonna go backwards. Like,
Yeah.
your effort didn't go backwards, it's gonna just continue compounding.
Yeah. Do you find, like when you say, I'm just trying to break it down even a little bit more, when you say connect with somebody, like one person a day, are you connecting with them just to get to know them and what they offer, and then also let them get to know you and what you offer? And that's as far as it goes? Or do you actually find it helpful to like ask, ask for, hey, can we partner up on something?
Yeah, both, but I never do that for my first call.
Okay.
Maybe some people do, and that's okay too.
Hmm.
But for me, when I choose to do a Zoom call with you, it's because A, I've heard really great things about you.
Right.
B, I saw a service that, hey, maybe I could use your service. Or C, like I just want to get to know you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to connect with every single person, and that's okay too. But I can maybe help them connect with someone that they will be able to connect with. And I
That's a
think
very good
me
point.
bringing that value is okay as well too.
I
Like
love
I
that.
just want to help that person get connected with if I can't be a help, that is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you just took it to the next level. That's perfect. Even if it's not that connection between you two, they might know somebody and you might know somebody and they're off running.
Yeah.
So that's
Absolutely. Yeah.
perfect.
No,
I love
definitely.
it. Well, thank you for breaking this down for everybody. It's been super inspiring. It's something that people can watch your story and be like, yeah, that's doable.
Yeah.
That's doable for
It's
them too.
if I can do it, I promise you anyone else can do it.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, you're pretty awesome, but thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's great. Well, this has been amazing. Anything else that you can think of before we wrap it up?
If anyone that sees this hasn't started and you do decide to start after this podcast, please reach out to me and tell me your progress. I would love to hear it.
Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you so much for that, Brenda. All right. Well, until next time, we'll probably do this again in like 6 months or a year, if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, sounds great.
Can't
Absolutely.
wait. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye.